welcome to Business as Usual. If you'd like to be a guest on Business as Usual, please call over to Drake and Access Television and they'll connect us and we can get you scheduled for an episode. So really excited, I got Kesiah with us. She's from Mill City Grows, one of my favorite projects. Good afternoon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, good afternoon.
So let's start with a little bit of history. Who is Mill City Grows? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so Mill City Grows is an organization for sustainable agriculture and food justice and access, which sounds like a lot of words.
It does.
But pretty much what we're doing is trying to make food, fresh, local, culturally appropriate food accessible to all, and we do that through a number of different ways. So we build community gardens, and that's a wonderful way to encourage people to grow their own food, and then they get to have ownership, total ownership, over what they're growing and what ends up on their plates, and they know that it's fresh and they know that it's organic. We also have a mobile market, so it moves from neighborhood to neighborhood in the city of Lowell. And that way, instead of people having to drive very far or walk far or hop on a bus, they can get their food almost right at their doorstep. So again, that's creating that access point for them. And then we understand that a huge piece to fresh food is that educational element. So we do build gardens in the schools as well, and we teach a lot of gardening programs through the schools and also on our own urban farms so that people can have the technical skills to grow their own food.
That's really neat because I remember being a little kid, first, second grade, we had a plant. You know, everyone had a little, cup and you put the seeds in. And just that first day you came in and there was a growth.
Yeah.
You were like, oh my God, I'm raising something. So that's really cool. A couple things that I like about that. I love the mobile market idea because you're able to go from neighborhood to neighborhood. So what time of year does that run?
Yep, so right now we have one market that's running out of Mill number 5, which is on 250 Jackson Street.
Every Sunday, right?
Yep, every Sunday. Yep. And then coming up in the summertime, so in June, we'll start up the rest of the markets, and we are planning on having 9 stops this year. Last year we had 8, and our market manager is planning those stops right now.
Excellent. But also there's a lot of culture behind it too, right? So people who may have come into this country, they're having the ability to grow crops from their homeland, right?
Exactly, yeah. So
I think that's so cool.
Yeah,
it's
fun. So I'm the community program manager, which means I work pretty much specifically in the gardens. And in the garden, we have about 14 languages that are spoken, and we have folks from all across the world. And so it's one of those opportunities for gardeners to grow the food that does come from their own countries or from their own cultural backgrounds. But it's also a wonderful engagement point and cultural exchange point for people from all over. So you'll see Burmese speaking with Americans, speaking with, everyone. So it's just a wonderful kind of hub for people to learn about cultures outside of themselves.
Plus, it's got to be cool just for the exposure to different crops. I mean, myself, I don't really, I remember the first time someone gave me kale. Yeah. I was looking at it going, what is it? Yeah. What do I do with it and stuff? So that's got to be neat, saying, hey, try this crop and just how, it can, expand people who understand what different crops are.
Yeah, and again, it goes both ways. So our urban farmer, Lydia, who is also one of the founders of Mill City Grows, it's really great because she'll see a new kind of spinach that's growing in the community garden and then say, hey, if this is what gardeners are growing, maybe this is what people are going to buy in the community. And so then we get to experiment with that on the farm to grow it at a larger scale and again make it more accessible to the wider community. And at the same time, there are foods that we're growing, such as kale, that people might not be familiar with. They're generally maybe typically eating a salad green, lettuce, and so we try to provide education around that too and provide recipe cards and different cooking ideas and be really encouraging about that exchange.
That's what I was going to ask about. Yeah. So obviously there's a big educational component involved. Yeah. Okay, you gave me this crop, what do I do with it? Yeah. Type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And kind of just trying to teach people, it's similar to a potato or whatever. Yeah. For that educational component so that, me, I'm pretty conservative. I'm like, I look at everything twice going, well, I like it and stuff, where you guys seem to do a really great job educating people. Okay, this is the crop, and this is what you do with it. That's important.
Yeah, so we actually did just hire a community food educator. Currently, the classes that I run, we have a gardener training program. That's all based in kind of technical garden training. Yep. So it's how do you plant a seed and then watch it grow? You know, how do you, once you have pests on that plant, how are you going to get rid of those pests, or how are you going to prevent them in the first place? And we realized that there is more of a demand to think about the whole body and the nutrition aspect of that, and so we're trying to pull somebody onto our team to talk a little bit more about, how is kale good for the body? Why is this so important for us outside of that access point? Why is it so important for people to access food? It's because it helps your body in the long run. It could help prevent type 2 diabetes, you know, so we're trying to think of the whole picture.
It's kind of neat. I know I'm jumping around a little bit on the questions because you're pulling me in really good. But you also train farmers too. There's new entry, and they train farmers, and then our gardener training program's more for but you're helping people understand, you know, how, like you said, if they have a pesticide or something on there, you know, hey, oh my God, you know, my crops are being attacked, what do I do? So you're educating them on all of that too, right? Yeah,
so this year we're going to have 14 classes, workshops, and they're anywhere from how to plant a seed, how to build better soil so that your plants want to grow.
Right,
we are totally organic. So we try to encourage prevention instead of killing the pest with a pesticide. So first we'll talk about
not pesticide.
We'll talk about that, like how you can just pick certain bugs off of a plant, or you can buy certain barriers that aren't harmful to keep pests out. And then we even talk about season extension, and we get into the cooking aspect of it and preserving the harvest and doing jellies and jams. And the great thing about that is, so I'm teaching a lot of those classes, and I don't know that much about pickling. So I'm working with over 150 gardeners right now, and some of them are expert picklers or expert jam makers, and so I get to pull them in to help with the gardener training program.
I think your program's important because I'm seeing a real push for people wanting to know, hey, I grew that over there. You know, with people worried, where's the food coming from? But also, you know, just being able to watch their own garden grow. Yeah. You know, and we all love those friends in the summer. You want some cucumbers? Yeah. And I got 73 of them. You know, I had a real good crop.
It's a great way to make friends.
Yeah, like I said, I always love those people. You know that you run into them like, I got cucumbers and tomatoes in the car. You know, so. But I love that you're helping them, because a lot of people want to do it, but they don't know how. So they go out and they plant their own garden and like, oh, man, nothing happened. But you can kind of help them along, and also, like I said, just the exposure to different crops is kind of cool. And let's talk a little bit about the market, because you guys obviously have a market, and you have CSA too, right?
We don't currently have a CSA,
no? Okay.
No, but we do have. So again, I just keep pulling it back to the access point, because it's at the heart of what our organization is. And so we believe that everybody has a right to fresh, culturally appropriate food.
That's great.
And so that means that we will take SNAP cards or EBT cards as well, and we'll actually try to match to a certain extent. So if you buy $10 of vegetables worth, we'll only charge $5 for that, to try to make that more affordable.
Great, yeah. Well, like I said, I agree with that, because just trying to get people to realize, hey, it's good to be eating more, more fruits, more vegetables type of thing and stuff, and making it affordable is usually important and stuff. How'd you get involved?
I got lucky. So my parents they were avid gardeners growing up. So from a young age, I was planting vegetables and tossing compost around the garden. But I never realized that you could actually make a living out of it.
Sure.
And originally was in youth development and human services type of work. And then I found an organization in Boston that's doing similar work to Mill City Grows. And from there, I just got really involved in the food justice movement and realized that we're all connected by food, right? So it's just such a wonderful vehicle for conversation. So I farmed, I did Peace Corps and was doing agriculture there, and then I came back from Peace Corps and knew that I just wanted to continue pursuing that, and found Mill City Grows, and I felt like the position community program manager was written for me, and now here I am.
It's really interesting when you just said we're all connected by food. Never really gave much thought to that until you said it. I'm like, It brings everyone together. It's really true and stuff. So tell me a little bit more about what you do in your job.
So let's see. So there's a couple of different programs. First of all, there's the community garden program. So we'll be building our 5th community garden this year, and it'll be.
All right. So where are the community gardens for people?
We've got one. Let's see if I'm going to get this right. We've got one at North Common Park, so that's in the neighborhood of the Acre. We have one on Smith Street, which is over in the Highlands in Cambodia Town.
You're doing good.
Thank you. We've got one in South Lowell. It's Rotary Garden right near. So that park, which is owned by the Rotary Club. So we've got one garden there, and that's our oldest garden. And we've got one over on West 3rd, which is in Centerville. And we'll be building our 2nd garden in Centerville on April 16th if people want to come.
But what a really cool way to bring the community together. Because when I first heard about what you guys are doing, I was like, that's fascinating, because it's a way to connect people. Like, you may be my neighbor and we do the kind of the half wave at each other, but then, you know, we both have a love of gardening, and now that's bringing us together. It's just such a great idea.
And you know, it's kind of amazing. The food element, it's kind of the starting point. Like I said before, it's like how we are able to connect and talk to each other, even if there are different languages. We can celebrate the food that's growing, but it's really amazing to see where gardeners take it from there, and what friendships have bloomed from and blossomed from that experience. No puns intended. And so, you know, we're going to have a bike tour this year, and we just we had a lot of gardeners came out to help me with a seed sorting party. We try to have potlucks. We try to have art days. And so even people who aren't necessarily growing in the garden get to be engaged by the garden activities, and people who are there get to really come to that space and I don't know, have fun.
But I would imagine just having it there, you know, people who might not even be involved are watching.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, oh, what are they doing over there? And then they start to see people coming together. And I would imagine, you know, people kind of like, hey, I want to be part of it too. I feel like I'm missing out and stuff. So that's got to be kind of cool. Now, did you mention you have programs in the schools too? Talk to me a little bit about that, because I'm fascinated by that.
Okay, so the programs, what we're trying to do, I think, we're going to be building our 12th garden this year in the schools, I want to say. And so typically we'll build 5 raised bed gardens in each school, and then understanding that teachers have a lot on their plates. So we do a little helping with like curriculum teaching and education in the schools around growing food and the science of gardening, and try to really plug it into science, into math, in any way that we can. And then this is actually a part of what I do as well, is we have a leadership program in the wintertime called the Garden Coordinator Institute. So teachers and then also community gardeners go through that institute and are thinking about leadership, and they're thinking about how they can apply education and be leaders in their gardens, and really kind of like help implement that model into the school or into the community garden.
But you forget about the math and science piece of it, though.
But there's so much science.
It's not just throw the seeds in, water it, and hey, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, right?
And so it's amazing. We have a food corps member, and so he goes into the schools and builds amazing curriculum around, and works with all of the teachers, because you can do art, you can do seed art, you can do the science piece, like I said. So really just thinking creatively around how food can be an educational tool.
But it's really great that you're educating the students at such a young age, because, you know, I would think over time that gardening, you know, and growing crops may be a dying thing if no one's there educating the next generation how to do it. Like you mentioned, your parents did, they taught you, you know, then your obligation would be to teach the next generation. But if you have people like, oh yeah, I know my mom and dad did that, but I'm just going to go to this grocery store, thanks anyway, you know, because I don't want to put in the effort. So it's really nice. And it's got to be cool to watch the kids get excited about it.
Yeah,
you know, fun. Hey, here's our crops coming, you know, and stuff. That's got to be kind of neat and stuff. So, like I said, that's got to be a little fun. So talk to me a little bit about the community impact. Because I think the community must love you guys. I know I would if you were in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, it's one of those things that we constantly have to see how people are feeling and meet people where they're at. So I think we've had a great response, and for our gardener training program, we have more and more people attending our workshops on the regular, and then we've got a long wait list, which means that people are really interested in gardening with us. But we really, again, it's so important, that engagement piece. So we really make it a point to go from door to door and knock on doors and say, hey, we're going to be building a community garden in your neighborhood. Is this something that you would like? Is it something you've never heard of before? Come vision with us. Come to our visioning meeting so you can put your input in there too.
Really smart.
And we do see that people are responding well to that, and we try to do as many evaluations as possible as well to make sure that we're trying to meet people where they want to be met.
I really love that. How do you decide what to grow in the community gardens?
Well, that's up to every single gardener. So it depends on what plot we grow on, but each person has a 4-foot by 10-foot plot that they get to grow out of. And we say no invasive plants. And then, but from there, we try to source some of our seeds from local areas that are organic. But people really kind of get to decide for themselves what to grow.
But I imagine you must have people who've done that, who've had the plot and then went out and got a bigger plot because they just fell in love with it and wanted to do more.
Yeah, and so this is why we do it in Lowell, right? Because some people don't have the backyard space to grow their own food, so we're trying to create that. But then there are other people who are there for the social element, and so they have a backyard, but then they also have this plot as well. But in a 4-foot by 10-foot area space, you can grow up to 15 different crops in there. So people get a lot of food, especially once they've gone through some of the gardener training programs or they've experimented for a couple of years. They understand how to really maximize production on that space.
It's always interesting to me to speak to someone who's a gardener because they get so excited about it. You know, like whether it's this grew really well this year, or hey, the animals got to this crop this year, type of thing. But it's really fun to watch, and I've had friends that they start off with, hey, maybe some cherry tomatoes or something, and then 2 years later, you go to the house and the entire backyard is turned into a garden. That's really cool to watch and stuff. So talk to me, what's your favorite part of your job?
The favorite part, I love the people. I get to work with so many people every day.
And it has to really be cool because you're getting to meet people from all over the world and what you're doing.
I am. And gardeners, we are a special bunch, And it takes all kinds, but somehow we all kind of mesh together in a way, and I get to learn from them, they get to learn from me, and in a way we're just like a little family that's growing food, so it's fun.
So talk to me about how you guys interact with other community groups.
So we rely really heavily on other community groups to get the word out about our organization, and then vice versa. So there are so many different festivals and events that are happening out of Lowell, which is really amazing. So we try to be in direct communication with our partners about those. So we'll be at their events tabling, and they'll be at ours tabling. A lot of different organizations, I'm thinking CBA, Coalition for a Better Acre, they have such a strong connection to the community already. So we've been really fortunate to be able to encourage a lot of members of their community to come garden with us. So that's the biggest way. And I think Mill City grows, we're growing food, but we are also growing community. So understanding that it does take the entire village, and that means knowing your partner organizations and your neighbors.
I really liked what you said, is you're meeting people where they are. Because, it made me think about that when you said it. I'm like, that's true, because if you're going out into the community, you need their input as, what do you want to see us grow? How can we help you and stuff? And it's nice to bring together all those different voices and try to find a way to bring them all together and have, the pride of ownership of the community garden. That's really smart, actually. It's smart to take it, to partner with the other community groups who already have the following, saying, hey, here's something that's going to allow us to, have healthy food in our community. So it totally makes sense to me and stuff. So, all right, crystal ball time. What's the future holding for Mill City Grows this year?
The future. So we've got One new community garden, and we'll be building that on April 16th. We're looking for as many hands as possible to help us put the soil into the beds. It's going to be a day-long process.
So when is it again?
April 16th,
yep.
And it'll be from 9 to 4. That's on a Saturday.
And if someone has a couple hours, they can come by and help for a couple
yep,
hours?
A couple
just
hours.
so we don't scare them away at 7 hours worth of work?
Yeah. So it's in shifts. You can sign up on our website, www.millcitygrows.org. We also do have a huge event coming up on April 23rd.
Yep.
So that will be in conjunction with UMass Lowell. And it'll be part Earth Day Festival, part Urban Growers Gathering. So it'll be kind of a season launch. There'll be a huge seed exchange there. There will be workshops.
So what's that when you say seed exchange? What is it?
It means that we have a ton of seeds that many companies have donated to us from around the United States and locally. And they're free. And so we're hoping that people will bring seeds that they don't want anymore and swap them out for new seeds.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them, so come on down.
So let's go back to the volunteer day.
Yeah.
So when is it again?
April 16th.
Yeah.
That's a Saturday.
Now, if I want to help, but I don't know anything about gardening, can I still help?
Yes, you can. As long as you are ready to sweat and you're ready to use a shovel or push around a wheelbarrow.
Okay, yeah. Well, now there's people watching you like, hey, I'd like to get involved, but, so obviously you'll give them instructions.
Yep, we'll give them instructions. And we do have a number. We just launched our volunteer program, so you can also
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How do people volunteer?
So if you go to our website, again, www.millcitygrows.org, you can sign up, and there are, I might not get the days exactly right, which is why you have to check us out. But we'll have 3 days a week and once a month on the last Saturday, where you can come to either our small urban farm or our larger farm out in Pawtucketville, and we'll lead you in a series of activities that are really going to help us grow our food and get that food to the residents of Lowell.
So someone's watching the show, love what you're doing. Can they just donate some money?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. How do they go about doing that?
So again, you would go online and there is a donation box, or you can write a check to Mill City Grows.
Yep. So like I said, how long would people volunteer? So someone goes out to the website, they see different types of volunteers, opportunities. They like list what you're looking for volunteer opportunities?
Yeah, currently it's mostly, we've set it up so it's only on those specific days at those specific hours, and you'll come out to the farm. But every now and then we do need help in the office, or like I said,
sometimes we need office help too, right?
So it's always good to give us a call as well if you are looking for hours that don't quite match up, because we might be able to plug you in somewhere.
So let's talk about some of you have other fundraisers too. I see you do various ones throughout the year.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those, because you have a couple that I've seen recently.
Yeah, our biggest. Well, this is our 5th year anniversary, so we're doing a lot of celebrating. But our biggest event, I would say, is Farm to Cocktail, which will be happening. I want to say at the end of June.
Yeah.
And so that's this wonderful event that's connecting, just like the title says, just the farm, so the food, and mixing that into beverages. And it's also this wonderful kind of funders event where we try to celebrate what we're doing and try to fund our programs going forward.
Well, obviously, like you said, you're continuously growing. So as we grow, we need more revenue too. Yeah. So it only makes sense that people, they'd be asking people to reach out and help and stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about the volunteer opportunity one more time. We got a couple minutes left.
Sure.
When is it and how can people volunteer?
April 16th, you can either contact me personally. So should I say my number?
Course, yeah.
Yep, my number is 978-746-6079. You can email me at gardens, GARDENS, @millcitygrows.org, or you can go to our website and sign up there.
Yep.
Okay.
So like I said, how long have you been with the program?
I've been with Mill City Grows for 1 year now.
Yep. Yeah. So you're coming on your 1 anniversary.
Yeah.
So it has to be amazing just to see just how far you've even grown just in the last year.
Yeah, we've come a long way. We were downtown at the YWCA, and then in July we became our own 501c3, And now we've got our office over at the Western Avenue Studios. And again, we're going on to our 5th community garden, and that means we'll be having about 150 garden plots, which is huge. And then the school garden program's expanding, and we have one more market that's being set up. And yeah, I feel really fortunate to be with this organization, and again, like the people make this job worthwhile, and I feel like I got pulled in really quickly to the mix.
And if people want to see upcoming educational events, go out to the website?
Yeah, you can go to the website. It's also on, we have a Facebook page, and we try to post all of those around town too, just in case people aren't so savvy on the computer.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so you can see them at Mill Number 5. You can see the listings at our farm, which is on 230 Middlesex Street. It's all there.
But that's what's great about it. You know, I believe there was something on composting coming up.
Yeah.
You know, where there's people, you know, who want to know about that, you know. So I really like, you know, how strong your educational component is, where someone's like, hey, I really want to learn how to do that. You guys are taking the time to educate them how to do it. So that's got to be kind of neat and stuff. So do you teach any of those classes?
Yep, I'll be teaching this one on Sunday, which is on the composting basics, and also pulling in Gunther Wellenstein, who's from DPW.
Yeah, and he's a recycle person or something.
Yeah, he does a lot of the solid waste management. So just kind of we try to pull in different aspects about gardening, and so from the city viewpoint, and from how you can do it in your backyard, to how you can do it at our own gardens, to worm composting. So yeah, I do a lot of the workshops, but then again, try to pull in other community members.
It's got to be fun and challenging to do the workshops, because like you said, you have a number of people coming in from different backgrounds, interested in from different angles. So it's got to be fun, but also really challenging to make sure that everyone who comes leaves with what they wanted to leave with.
Exactly.
So we got about a minute left. So one more time, how do people learn more about Mill City Grows?
Yeah, check us out at our website, www.millcitygrows.org.
Great. Really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. As simple as that. See you next time.